Hey, so welcome. Today we're talking about omnipresence and becoming the best known oral surgeon. I'm super excited about today's content. I think you're going to find some really valuable things in here, really applicable items to your business as well. So the dilemma is every oral surgeon that I met, and we know this just from the field, it's the top of the line. This is the most talented expert in the industry. The buck stops at the oral surgeon. And if you look at the time and money that's been invested to become an oral surgeon, it's just top notch, right? So the skill level and the excellence is all there. But when you look at online visibility and can their business be found online, there's usually a huge gap. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So a lot of great things coming up. I'm going to keep this brief, try to keep it under 30 minutes, and it will be very practical. I think success happens when we implement things. So if you could end this training with 2 or 3 things that you put in practice right away, we're going to end it with a kind of a 90-day framework on how to implement these items. That would be great. So in that light, I know we always try to multitask and do 1,000 things. If I could get your attention, I promise to try to serve you well and give you really good content here. Brief background about myself. I'm the owner of Oral Surgeon Marketing Pros. We have a team of about 12 people. I did write a book on internet marketing for oral surgeons. It's the only one that I know of. I was able to work the conference in Chicago on dental implants. And I also coach digital marketing agencies. I coach between 28 to 30 digital marketing agencies. And I've been in this space for 14 years. I know what strategies work, and it's all about we want to help businesses grow, help more clients, and increase your revenue and profitability. So we have 3 parts, and then move fast. I have a kind of a foundational framework, some basics, and I've talked to enough oral surgeons to know that all oral surgeons are phenomenal at their practice, but as far as like running the business or the whole marketing side, when it comes to internet, that is a bit of a stretch. So I kept some beginner stuff and then some kind of advanced stuff. And then very briefly tie it all into an action plan. So this is where we're headed. I'm going to start with some of the foundational items. Like it or not, your reputation is viewed online, and Google is the number one spot that people go to evaluate who you are. Even if they are being referred by their dentist, they're still going to look you up. If you don't have a number of reviews and the rating, they're going to have some hesitancy to take up that referral. So you really need to have a systematic way to continue to get referrals. Like it or not, you could really be the best in your entire state. You could be the best oral surgeon, but the problem is, let's say you 95 patients in a row, like they just love you, like you're phenomenal, and you do all those soft touches and you do great work and everything. But if you don't have a systematic way, it's the 1 out of 100 that you can't please that puts on the negative review. And so then someone checks you out and you have 10 or 20 reviews and you have a couple 1 stars in there. That doesn't look good, even though 90% of them are good. And that's probably going to give you a 4.0 rating in Google's system, but your competition's at 4.8, 4.9, 5.0. You're going to get viewed down upon, even if those, you might have some competitors that have lots and lots of reviews and they have a 4.8 or 5. Even if you might have even trained some of those oral surgeons, maybe you took them under your wing for a bit, or you've given them some education. And you're better at what you do. It's just that they might be better at playing the game of getting reviews. So this is absolutely critical. I've done a webinar training on this, so I won't spend a lot of time on this. But if you go to YouTube and you type in Oral Surgeon Marketing Pros, and then go to the playlist, go to webinars, there's a whole training on just how to get reviews. All right. So when we talk about omnipresence, mastering local SEO, and SEO stands for search engine optimization, ranking high, it's just really important to have happen. And it really starts with your Google business profile page. And it needs to be optimized. And typically what that looks like is, by the way, I've seen like hundreds of oral surgeons Google business profile, and I would say 80% of them, sometimes higher, can be improved. So typically we want to see a minimum of 25 pictures in there. We like question and answers for every service that you offer. For example, dental implants, that's one service. wisdom teeth extraction. That's another service. For each one of those services, you can have a product page that goes inside your Google business profile. Every time that you post something on social media, your Facebook page, you should also be posting in your Google business profile. I think I mentioned question and answers, like the more, if you could put up to 10 question and answers, like commonly asked questions, and put them in there. And Google allows companies to really build that whole profile out. It's a mini website, and Google wants people to hang out on their properties. That's why they do that. One, there's got to set up having a complete profile. And then two, you need to add content to that, whether it's social posts or blogs or whatever you can that's helpful to the profile. And then you need that system to be adding reviews. And that's really going to help you not only rank higher in your immediate area, but then the further that you go out, you're still going to rank high. That's in a snapshot how that works with Google Business Profile. Now, all the calls, you're going to love this. All the calls that you get from there are free. We've seen over 100 phone calls come in from a Google Business Profile in 1 month. And so it's well worth the efforts to build out your profile and continue to do those efforts to help with the rankings. All right. Reviews. We briefly talked about reviews. You constantly need to get 5-star reviews. I will give you a couple tips here. It is sometimes helpful to assign someone at the front desk, like they're the champion of reviews. They're the person that closes the clients out. And then they're the person that asks for reviews. Sometimes it's helpful to follow up with an email, but always ask in person. Don't just rely on the email because you're not going to get as many reviews. So you need to ask in person. It's helpful if the doctor explains towards the end, hey, it'd be great if you could give us a review. Reviews help us educate people how we do business here, and we love to get the word out. It's really important to our business. Just saying that, and then they follow up at the front desk, and then an email after that. Sometimes people follow up with a postcard. But the more times you ask, truth of the matter is the more you're going to get. Doing those soft touches really helps, like calling all your patients at the end of the day, just a quick phone call, check in. That goes a really long way. I know some oral surgeons don't like to do that, but it goes a long way. Those soft touches are huge deposits into the relationship. They know they're being cared for when you do that. If you're behind in your schedule, like calling someone ahead of time to say, hey, we're a little bit backed up. I didn't want you to have to wait too long in the office here. So if you can come in a little bit later, 20, 30 minutes, it's going to reduce your wait time. Those kind of touches go a long way, and they help contribute to getting 5-star reviews. Another really important foundational aspect is your website. Every oral surgeon that I know has a website. Some are better than others. Some kind of look generic. Truth of the matter is, patients are going to judge your company by your website. Initially, it's the new storefront. So the more helpful, useful content that you could have on your website, the better it's going to be. It does need to be fast loading, and please don't forget about mobile. Like half of the web visits, half of the traffic that comes to your website is through a mobile phone. So a lot of times people don't pay attention to that. That tends to load slower than the desktop. So make sure that mobile is loading fast. Make sure that the navigation is easy and that there's good visuals, good pictures. Don't bury too much text on there. You know, when TikTok invaded the digital marketing space, it changed our brains, because that's when Facebook and Google and YouTube and Instagram all start doing these video shorts. And so we like to consume information in short amounts of videos, and I'm going to encourage you to put video shorts on your website. And I would encourage every doctor to record a short video, 60 seconds or less, on each service that you offer. So dental implants, do your short video. Here, this is not a recording, but I've recorded many video shorts, and I'll tell you how I do it. I get some ideas from ChatGPT. I pick 5 topics that I believe my clients they will benefit from. I ask ChatGPT to write a script. I edit it so that it's 100% what I believe in. And I'm able to record on Zoom, and then I read it. I have 2 monitors and I'm literally able to read it. So I'm not even looking at the camera. And when I'm done recording it, I give it to a video editor, and the software that we use is called Descript. And with Descript, you upload the video, there's one button that you can click and it changes the eyes to look away to the camera. And it looks like I'm looking at the camera, which makes a much more engaging video. So that's as simple as it is to record a video short. And you can go through each one of your services and record a short video to explain what it is, what the recovery time is, what someone should expect, and so on. So having educational videos is really critical. Well, if you can get client testimonials, patient testimonials on your website, that would be wonderful. There's got to be some patients that just absolutely love you. They have that extroverted personality. If you can capture a few patient testimonials and put them onto your website, it's going to go a really long way. People really trust those videos. So make sure your website loads fast. There's calls to action. The phone number is easy to read. Don't play hide and seek with any information. Sometimes people are at work, they can't call, but they know you'll follow up, or it's on the weekend. Make sure there's an easy to fill out web form. Make it easy to find. Put lots of educational information on. And part of the reason why companies add blogs to their website is because the more helpful, useful, and new content that you give to the website, the more Google sees that as good, helpful content, and then they're going to rank you higher. All right, so the fourth, and we're still in the kind of the foundational framework, but the fourth item that I'm going to mention is we've all been to community festivals, and we've all seen the dentist have a little booth, and they're in the community, and it's a way to get involved with the community. Having, like I had a business that we did 25 to 35 shows or events per year, and actually had a whole show department, 8 to 10 employees, and they would work on the weekends. And there's several people out there that love to work part-time and they love to, but better yet, you may have employees that are looking for some extra hours, or that would even work 1 or 2 shows or festivals in your immediate community. And it's pretty easy to have a booth and to have giveaways. I've seen oral surgeons give away like a stress ball that's in the shape of a tooth, or a lip balm with their, like it's branded with their company name on. Those are easy giveaways, but that's a good way to get involved in the community. Now, an easier way to get involved in the community is to sponsor some kind of a baseball league or team, to sponsor like a 5K charity. And every year your company banner gets put on display with all those other people in the community. That's a good non-digital way to keep your presence in the community. All right, let me now move over to some more advanced strategies. Wouldn't it be nice to only spend advertising dollars on people that are in the market for your services? That's what this first strategy involves. It's remarketing. It's using Google and Facebook, and basically code that gets put on your website. And so if they go to your website, we're only chasing them around the internet with some ads. And I'm not going to talk about ads initially, what kind of ad that would work for this type of aspect. But from a different angle, having talked to many owners, it gets frustrating when they see how much web traffic is coming to their website and how few conversions actually happen. If you convert 10% of your web traffic into someone raising their hand and filling out a form or making a phone call, that's probably good. That's decent. But an owner always says, well, you have 100 web visitors, only 10 people actually call and book an appointment. An owner always, what are those other 90 people doing? Like, why are they going to my website? And I seriously doubt it's some high school kid writing a paper on wisdom teeth extraction or something. So they could be existing patients trying to learn something, but there's a decent amount of them. And we all do this. We're tire kickers. We're trying to learn. It's just so easy to check out a business. If someone needs your services, it's very easy to look at 5 to 8 different oral surgeon practices and to see, get a feel for the staff in the office, and does this company look friendly? Do they have great reviews? Are they qualified? People are going to a website and not filling out a form. They're scocking things out. Maybe they went 2 or 3 times back to your website, or they're trying to learn something. This first strategy would just be targeting these people that have gone to your website, they haven't filled out a form. And again, it's a code on the website, and maybe someone goes to your website and then 10 minutes later, they're checking out the sports scores on ESPN, and then they see an ad with your banner on it. Now, what kind of an ad would you want to show that kind of a person? A client testimonial video would be pretty cool, or a video from you, or an image of your great Google rating, 5 stars, or just the company logo, something to keep awareness, to keep your company name on the top of their mind. Now, there are some real advanced strategies on this, and I think it's going to be used more frequently. And that is, there's very inexpensive technology that will identify the IP address that went to your website. And from there, you could instantly get, or within a few minutes, get the person's name, their home address, or whatever address the IP is coming from, 1 or 2 email addresses, and 1 or 2 phone numbers. No, that's creepy, but it gets a little bit creepier as to what you can do with that information. And again, you get this information, you can automate all these kind of strategies. So one is you could send a postcard out to their house with a QR code and a coupon when they come in. It's a nice strategy. That postcard could show up within 3 days or so, 3 or 4 days. Another strategy is you could send an email sequence, maybe every other day for the first week or 2, do a short-term nurture sequence and then back off to do once a week and back off into a newsletter. So we talked about postcard, email. Let's see, what else can you do? You can, of course, feed that information to Facebook and Google, and now you have a little bit more information. So it's going to make it easier for those platforms to find you or that prospect. And the third most creepiest thing is you can send commercials to their television set on Roku, things like Hulu, just for that person. And you could show them some video or some commercial that you have. So there's a lot of different things that you can do with people that have come to your website. So that's an advanced play, and that definitely would lean into Omnipresence. All right, so this one relates to referral partners. Now, last month I did do a training on creating referral partners, how to nurture those, and talked more about lunch and learns and different topics, and talked about newsletters, showed examples. But it is good to have 25 GPs in mind that you target, that you want to send newsletters to, that you can offer lunch and learns to. I have one client that has season tickets to hockey games and basketball games and invites various people out, strategic partners, to connect with them. And of course, he's created quite a few referrals through that. So that is another great way to create omnipresence, and with the foundation of having great reviews, because people are going to check you out, having a great website, customer testimonials, this all plays really well into omnipresence. All right, so now I want to briefly talk about local service ads. So when you do a search on a lot of different keywords that relate to local services, and Google knows, by the way, like if someone is looking for an oral surgeon, all the words that relate to your practice, Google has tagged as local intent, meaning they know the searcher's looking for someone in the local area. Now, Google makes a lot of money. We all know that. They have organized their search results in a way that they can maximize profit. And they've invaded a lot of different spaces. Oral surgery is one of the industries, and including dentists, but oral surgeons as well, where they offer on the top of the page local service ads. You can identify a local service ad because it usually has a square image on the right side of it. That is a pay-per-lead service. It is not Google Ads. It is not pay-per-click. This is a pay-per-lead service, and they'll charge typically by the phone call. Now, the most important keyword in the oral surgeon space is dental implants. Search volume is higher than every other keyword in the industry. And it just so happens that Google allows oral surgeons to advertise in local service ads with the keyword dental implant. So that is something, and I know it's a bread and butter for oral surgeons where they make a lot of money. It's something you definitely want to lean into. I think it'd be well worth your while. As time goes on, I'm seeing more and more oral surgeons that figure this out. And there are other services that you may do that are on the various services that are available to choose from. So you're just going to have to go through and figure out if there's one or two or three other services that you want to advertise for if you go into local service ads. So that's typically on the top of the search results. And then below that is Google Ads. Now, the beauty of Google Ads is you can pick your budget, you can turn it off, you can turn it on, you could pick your area, your neighborhood, and your keywords. And you can even tighten it so much that they have to type that exact phrase, otherwise your ad's not going to show up. One of my favorite stories is about 10 years ago, we had a dentist hire us. They did 5 interviews. And during the 5th interview, which was with me, they had 3 people and they said, just so you know, we're not doing Google Ads. We don't like Google Ads. We hear it's a waste of money and we're not going to be doing Google Ads. And I said, okay, that's fine. I can still help you. And they ended up hiring me and they ended up to be a long-term client. But I will say that after about a month, it was like the 4th or 5th weekend, I was in a meeting with them and I said, hey, by the way, do you offer oral surgery services? And they are like, yeah, absolutely we do. And well, just so you know, when someone types that phrase in, you can't be found. And there was that awkward silence. And then they said, what can we do about that? And I said, you could fix that with Google Ads. More awkward silence. And from there, I suggested that they start with a small budget. I explained to them that at the time how the Google algorithm worked. Google, again, like they are maximizing their setup so that they could make a lot of money. Even back then, it was if a dentist wants to show up for oral surgery, it would be with Google Ads. And they make it more difficult to rank for certain keywords because they want to do pay per play, right? So I suggested a small budget and we start running ads for oral surgery and it worked wonderfully. They kept it and we did so well for them that after, I don't know, 5 years or so, we worked ourselves out of a job because they bought a new building and hired a bunch of dentists to fill their routines with their twice a year cleanings and so on. And they didn't even need advertising after that. But again, that's Google Ads. So you can pick and choose what services to go with. That's my game plan for Omnipresence. We talked about your website, Google Ads, local service ads, your website having video, all sorts of little different strategies, even maybe being involved in the community, sponsoring a team, all those little things. We talked about remarketing, once they come to your website, finding them on the website through Facebook and Google Ads. Those are all great strategies. In today's world of digital, those days are behind us. I highly recommend that everything you do gets pulled into a dashboard and a report, and you're able to identify where your advertising dollars are going and what's working and what's bringing in you money and maximizing your profit that way. If you're going down this road, make sure you do that. Here's your 90-day action plan. I mentioned in the beginning, success happens when you implement things. It's fun to learn, but you're going to have a lot more success if you just jump in and take action. In the first month, I would highly recommend to review your Google business profile. Can you add pictures? Can you add question and answers? Can you add any of you? Go to your service page on your website and look at the list of all the various services. And you could take every one of those services and make a product out of it and put them on your Google business profile. Most everyone I've seen is posting on at least Facebook. Some of you are smarter and you're posting on the various platforms. So make sure all those social media posts get posted in your Google business profile. And then look at your reviews. What systems, and it needs to be a system, like what system do you have in place to get reviews? Do you have someone in the office that's a champion? You can't incentivize customers or patients to review you, but you can incentivize employees. So you can give a little bonus out for every review that they get and just find the right person and the right system. And I think you'll start to see lots of reviews, and it matters. It really impacts and affects your business. So Month one, I'd say, look at those. Month two, figure out what videos can you add. Are you open to record videos of yourself talking about your various services? It's not that hard to do. A lot of people don't like to be in front of the camera, but I would lean into it, take advantage of it. Review your website. Would you say it's like the best educational website in the business, or at least in your area? If not, make it that way. Put articles on there. Be of help. When Google wants companies to be of help, because that way the searcher will stay on their website more and it helps your rankings and so on. And month three, you can get into, like, once you have that foundation set up, then you can get into kind of advertising only for these people that have landed on your website and more advanced strategies. And as always, with all advertising, make sure your return on investment is aligned. If anyone would like some help with this, or even have a conversation, or if you have any kind of questions with this, I would love to spend time with you. No cost or obligation, and happy to discuss these things. If you would have a competitor analysis, we subscribe to endless tools that give us lots of visibility into things in a very short amount of time. And I would be able to actually show you some things on the fly. I'm happy to assign someone on our team to do some research and show you what your opportunities are if you're interested in growing your practice. And how to contact us is oralsurgeonmarketingpros.com. If you went to .com/discovery, you can schedule a call. You can call us here, or you can even take a picture of this QR code and go right to my calendar and schedule a time. Thank you so much. I kept it right at 30 minutes, but please try to take action, and good luck growing your business.